Player 2 has joined the game.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 246 of the Two Player Co-op Podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts here, Kevin, along with my brother from my mother, Shawn.
How we doing?
Tired, but better than I have ever been and you will ever be.
Dwight.
He said Dwight.
Dwight.
If this is the first time you're seeing, hearing, or listening to us, this is the Two Player Co-op Podcast, where just about every week two brothers get together to tell you everything you need to know about in the world of video games. If you like that, make sure you like the video, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, and everyone in betwixt. If you really like us, you can go to patreon.com/twoplayercoop. Just like our affiliates, James Solar, Sarah Solar, and John Tingley did, as well as our producers, Steve Appleton, Antsu, Vernon Slayton, and Dustin Downs. If you like cool t-shirts, coffee mugs, phone cases, hoodies, and the like, you can go to teespring.com/stores/twoplayercoop. So, if you're actually listening to us and you're watching on YouTube, what I want you to do right now is comment if you notice anything different about our setup on the video for the podcast.
We're not going to tell them.
We're not going to say what it is. Just say if you notice anything different with the shadows, the lighting, anything like that. Just let us know if we should continue to try
for better
to
or for worse.
Maybe move our table about a foot or so every week, or leave it as it was, because I'm not sure.
So you just told them.
Well, I didn't say which way. I'm just saying, like. So this last week was one of our busiest weeks that I can remember. Make sure you check out our review for Trigger Witch, which is one of our favorite games. We're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But it's one of both of our favorite games of the year, I would say. Would you agree?
I mean, definitely. But I've only played like 5-6 games this year.
You played more. I mean, I can pull up my list of my games, and you've played all of them, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, regardless, we're splitting hairs. Yes, it's one of my favorite games of the year.
We love it. We'll talk about more here in a little bit, so check out the review if you have not already. Also, I know if you're watching us live right now, John and James, this makes no sense to you, but check out our interview that we did with John O'Peck about writing Trigger Witch, doing the narrative for it, and being the sound designer as well. That went up this past Monday, so check that out as well if you have not already. That was an awesome interview. The fact that the fact that the internet lets us do interviews with people that are half a world away, literally, from us, is just awesome.
It's pretty cool.
And Jono is one of the nicest dudes.
Super cool.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while, and to be able to finally talk to him, we asked some dumb American questions about Australia because we're dumb Americans. But then we talked about Australia, we talked about the NBA, we talked about Trigger Witch a lot. And we had one of the cutest guest stars on any podcast that I think we have ever had.
Yes.
Also, Eliza, my baby girl. Shout out to her when she broke in here. I was like, I need a hug. So check that out. Shawn.
Yes.
It appears, and I feel like this just had to be confirmed. I felt like it was coming. But Schreier and Jeff Grubb have both said that they have confirmed from multiple people that Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed until early 2022. I hate it, but I feel like this, like I tweeted this week, I feel like this was inevitable.
So are we going to hear, as far as we know, even though we don't believe it, is God of War still 21? Or have they already said 22 on that?
No, they said it's 22.
They did say that. Okay.
Which, what bugs me about that is there's no way. So, and then some people were like, oh, Horizon's going to go up against Breath of the Wild again. Breath of the Wild is not coming out in March. There is no freaking way. Would you agree? That game is holiday or 23. Holiday 2022 or 23. There's no way this is coming out the beginning of March. There's no freaking way. So when I see people tweet that, I'm like,
I would
there's
be shocked.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no way. But what bugs me about God of War is every mainline God of War, every console release of God of War has been in, I will call it the spring, either March or April with God of War 2018. When they first showed the teaser for God of War Ragnarok, as we're calling it right now, I was like, it's not coming out in 21. There's no way. I was right. It's been delayed, but there's also no way it's coming out in the spring, right? We haven't seen a second of anything other than a logo with Ragnarok is coming.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I would say it's more likely that Breath of the Wild is going head-to-head with God of War. Late
Yes.
22.
Or early 23.
Or, yeah.
But, I mean, my thing is, like, especially now that we know Metroid Dread is coming out in October. Like, so in August, we've got I'm finally going to buy Madden for the first time in 3 years because I have faith in the Giants this year because I'm an idiot. I'm going to buy Madden. We got Hades. We're finally going to play through that. Spoiler alert for later. Kenna Bridge of Spirits is now September. October is Metroid Dread. I'm like, I don't know that I don't need Horizon this year.
I wasn't exactly counting on it this year. So, yeah, I'm totally... it means nothing to me because I just kind of assumed it was going to be 22 anyway. So...
I want it to be awesome. I want them to do whatever they need to do to make it better than the first, which I don't know that it can be, but we'll see. I mean, Horizon right now I think was my number 5 favorite game of all time. So yeah, all along I assumed that would happen and that this delay would happen.
Yes,
and that too.
Yes.
So Shawn.
Yes.
Segue.
Yes.
What did you have for dinner?
Taco casserole.
Oh my God, kill me now.
It's delicious.
That's not. We talked about it in the pre-show, but if you're not a Patreon $10 or above, you weren't there for the pre-show. But I drove 6 hours yesterday and 6 hours today through the friggin' mountains, so I may not be at my top game, but I'm here for it. So yeah.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Do we think, I'll use God of War or Horizon as an example, but I mean industry-wide. Do you really think that Sony thought God of War was going to be out in 21? And
no.
In all honesty, I don't know that it's going to be out in 22. Like... Did they just do that? Like, how can they all consistently be so wrong? Like, at some point, you got to think, I think it'll be out in 21, which means it's probably going to be 22 or 23. Like, it's the whole under-promise, over-deliver kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everybody consistently over-promises and under-delivers. Always, 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 always. Nobody has ever said, this game's going to come out Q2 of 23, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're done early, it's going to be out Q4 of 21. Like, they never get it wrong that way, but they're almost always wrong the other way.
Especially
do
Sony.
They know, or do they just kind of assume? I don't know. Are they just throwing dates out there to generate buzz and then just be like, we'll come back and correct it later? Like, they have to be doing it on purpose, right?
I feel like Sony, especially because they have a long history. I mean, they delayed Last of Us Part 2 3, 4, 5 times, something like that. Like, everything gets delayed. The original God of War got delayed. I think Horizon got delayed. I think it was originally slated to come out in 2016. It came out early 2017, so here we are. Sony, as much as I love them, I'm going to call them on their BS, and this was complete BS. Horizon, I thought it had a chance for this year, but... when they said God of War Ragnarok is coming 2021, I saw it in my time hop not that long ago. I was like, there's no way this game's coming out in 21. I said it the first time they announced it. Like, would I have loved to play it this year? Yes. Was there any chance of that? No, not at all. Sony is... I do think, to go on the flip side, because I know we're very Sony PlayStation focused podcast. I think that Xbox / Microsoft thought Halo Infinite was going to come out last year. I really think they did. And then they showed Craig with, and they're like, holy crap, we can't do this. They brought back what's his name? I can't remember. Stefan, whatever his name is. And they're like, you got to fix this. And I still don't know that. I think Halo Infinite is going to come out next year as well. And I think it's going to hurt them so much. It's not going to hurt them in sales and stuff because it's not sales, it's Game Pass. But I think it's going to hurt them to not hit the 20th anniversary. I don't think Halo Infinite is coming out this year. Now, what I won't be surprised, I won't be surprised if they actually put the multiplayer out this year. But if you put the multiplayer out, because they're going to be separate releases, they've said that. If you put the multiplayer out before the single player campaign, I think you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But yes, Sony is so guilty of this. It is ridiculous.
Well, so the only thing I can think of, if you say it's going to come out whenever and then it gets delayed, I think to some extent you have the benefit of the doubt because the overwhelming mindset, whatever on it now, is the whole thing that I always get wrong about a bad game is bad forever, but a late game is good eventually, whatever that whole thing is.
A delayed game is eventually good. It's the other part I can't. A bad game.
You can get a good look at a T-bone.
No. you keep.
But
going.
whatever it is, okay. The flip side to that is if Sony's like, all right, let's just say 2023 for God of War, and then all of a sudden 22 rolls around and they're like, man, we're way ahead of schedule. It's going to be done. It's gone gold. It's going to be out Q3 of 22 instead. But God forbid if it comes out and there's anything wrong with that game, now people are just like, why did you rush this? Right. Like, so, and maybe that's why they never go the other way, because you would never live it down if it releases and there's anything wrong with it. But I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
So John says, kind of what I was saying. He said Halo multiplayer might be out this year. And based on the test that was this weekend, which we didn't play, obviously we don't have Xboxes, it seems like most people are like super hyped for it, which is awesome. The quote is from Shigeru Miyamoto: "A delayed game is eventually good. A bad game is bad forever." I'm going to screenshot this.
See, I don't know if
it's not true. You can delay a game and it still sucks. But what he's saying is you don't want to.
But it's not even. You're comparing a delayed game to a bad game. It's either you're really comparing a delayed game to a not delayed game.
Right.
And a bad game, you can still have a delayed game that's bad.
Like Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
That game is forever bad.
But yeah, I get the sentiment behind it, but
again, all I want is for that game to be better than the first, if that's even possible. So take your time, Sony. Obviously, you don't normally steer us wrong. So swear to. But yeah. The next thing here before we get into everything. So Blue Box Game Studios tweeted out this week that the abandoned preload is available. And they tweeted it with an image, which Shawn and I started talking about before we started talking to Jono the other day. I was like, nope, save it. And I kept talking. I was like, nope, save it. And I talked some more. I said, nope, save it. They tweet out the info for the preload of their app with a blurred image of someone that looks like Big Boss. There is someone. I mean, you say
somebody that looks like Big Boss. It's
Big
somebody
Boss
with an eye patch.
On the wrong side, which I will say.
Even more so, but it's a guy with an eye patch. It's not a guy that looks like Big Boss.
But he's got a beard. Who has an eye patch in video games that looks like that? Blurry.
Anybody with an eye patch looks like that. Blurry.
Name one other one.
Random character from whatever that face was from that somebody found.
Damn it, Shawn. So it's a blurred image of what looks like Big Boss.
I could make a me on my Switch, put an eye patch on it, and blur it out.
Just stop. I'm so pissed off.
I'm not saying they're not doing it on purpose. They know exactly what they're doing.
There's also blurred words on top of Abandon, which it seems like the font changed a little bit for Abandon, which is the same font as Metal Gear Solid. I don't want to say 1 because I think that was all our logo. I think everything was that. Okay, so it's 2 and 3. It's 2 also. where they went to the Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
So the font has changed for the word abandoned, which looks like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3. And also there's words blurred out on top. When I tweeted this out, when I saw it, I was like, oh, they blurred out the words up top. That's weird. I wonder what it says. I didn't even see the dude with the eye patch behind it because I was focused on the words, which clearly say Welcome to Silent Hill. If this is something that says Welcome to Silent Hill with an image of Big Boss, which apparently people have said that is another Unreal 4 asset flip, that they're just like, here's a guy with an eye patch, blur it out. I could do that in PowerPoint on my freaking work laptop. I almost am to the point now where also Norman Reedus, for crying out loud, made a post on Instagram where he was showing a character from Silent Hill. It was flippity floppity rabbity, some rabbity rabbity. It was some rabbit, not a rabid from Ubisoft, but it was some rabbit from Silent Hill. There is no independent developer that had a failed $200 Kickstarter is getting Sony to make them an app and use an image that looks like Big Boss and use marketing that reminds everyone of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which Kojima was obviously behind with Jeff Keighley. Like, oh, why does this say the Fox engine here? And then Joakim Mogren goes, oh, with his bandaged face. So I'll say right now, we're going to interview Colin again. My dogs are my dogs.
Where are my dogs at?
Someone's knocking on the door. I don't know you, woman. But I'm podcasting, so my wife can deal with it. If you can, John, let me know if you can hear the dogs. I don't know. It could be Snake Plissken. John, I love you. Thank you for being a patron. So, Mother F. John, can you hear the dogs? This is why we need to do a Kickstarter for $1,000 to get SM7Bs with a cloud lifter. Because then you couldn't hear them. I can hear them, though, and it just drives me nuts. Anyways, Mother F. What the hell was I saying?
Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken. What I'm starting to lean now into this, that this is something that, like, Kojima was abandoned by Microsoft. Not Microsoft. I wish he would abandon Microsoft. I'm going to kill myself.
Wait, so I'm sure this has been discussed because this is just such a duh thing, but I feel like I've never thought about it before. Konami still owns Silent Hill.
Yes.
Konami and Kojima do not like each other. Why would Kojima still
So the prevailing theory is that Sony has been the middleman to make amends between the two. Not that it matters, especially because they do not own Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
But what people are saying is that they think that Sony might be... First off, Sony has to be in on this at this point to allow this app to be preloaded. Like, they have not said anything. Konami hasn't said anything. Either of them could make one tweet and said, abandoned by Blue Box Game Studios is not a first-party Sony studio. We're not funding them. We're not doing this. This isn't Silent Hill. It's not Metal Gear, yada, 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 yada. No one has said that. And Sony is very quick to squash these things in the past. There's something going on here. Now, again, now that the dogs have shut the F up, what I'm leaning to, Jess is talking to somebody. I don't know who that is.
He can hear the dogs.
He can hear the dogs. All right. I'm sorry. Their names are Bella and Barkley, and they're awesome. Mother F. Oh, God, we need to hit Powerball and get a studio. Okay. What I'm wondering now, you can't just put an image that looks like Big Boss or Solid Snake with a solid eye from MGS4 if he had the young mask on, whatever. You can't just... Well, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't do that. Either this is something that's either saying Blue Box, which is probably Sony or Blue Point, is either making Silent Hill or Metal Gear, period. Or you have carved... But I don't even believe that they've dug their own grave at this point. Because Sony is just going along, giving them their own app?
If it turns out this has nothing to do with Kojima, nothing to do with Metal Gear, nothing to do with Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But Abandoned looks like a cool game. Are you just boycotting out of principle? Or are
They
you
can
just
kiss my fat white keister. No, this. By the way, remember, like 2 months ago, Blue Box tweeted out a video from Hassan Karaman saying that, oh, hey, I'm a real person. We're making a game. I don't know why everybody thinks it's Silent Hill. I don't know why this got. By the way, we're going to do a live stream very soon to answer all your questions. Shawn, has a live stream happened from them? The answer is no. I'm not even going to let you ask it because the freaking answer is no. Because these guys. This is either going to be on the level of not just the Phantom Pain, but also PT. Because remember, that was just a trailer. God, what the hell? I think it might have been TGS, I think. Because I think it was like around September, like a little bit before Halloween. So it was probably TGS 2014. It ends, and then it's like PT 7780, I think was what it was. And it's a PT. And then, like, within an hour, somebody had already downloaded it, beaten it, and it ends with Redis doing Silent Hill. And it's like, it says Silent Hills is coming, or whatever the hell it said. It's either on that level, which only I think Kojima could do, or it's some dude who's way over his head and has bit off way more than he can chew. But if he's bit off way more than he can chew, why is Sony giving this guy an app? There's never been an app for any game on the PlayStation Store. An app dedicated to a game before it comes out. And you're going to have 5 to 12 minute trailers and everything. Oh my God. By the way, I think I forgot to say this earlier. Did I say it about Colin?
Yeah, I think you started to.
I started to, and I got sidetracked by the dogs.
Barked.
That's what it was. Okay, so the dogs barked. By the way, the PT slash abandoned real-time experience trailer is now live for preloads. The first trailer is supposed to go live on August 10th. Shawn, what are we doing on August 10th?
Interviewing Colin.
Colin Moriarty, August 10th. It'll be up that Friday, I would guess, if not earlier. But this is either brilliant marketing or it has to be brilliant. It has to be
play
marketing.
devil's advocate.
I will shoot it down no matter what you say.
No, I get how it's very much along the lines of PT, very much along the lines of Metal Gear Solid 5 in terms of the build up, whatever.
Yeah.
The marketing, yeah. Unless it's all just
The
part
biggest
of the
coincidence-
plan. This has been done so obviously. Like,
But so was the Phantom
blue
Pain.
box
The
with
Phantom
like the
Pain
same
was too.
lettering as Sony, and this picture of this guy with a eye patch just blurred out. In the
Also,
back
it
with,
said trespassers will be killed, and it blurs out P and T. Yeah,
yeah, like it just seems so. I mean, that's at least kind of
guess the name. First letter S, last letter L. Are you kidding me?
right.
Silential. What are you talking about? It's Silent Hill.
Yeah, I don't know.
This, oh my God. I hope we know something on August 10th because that, like, I got so much I want to talk to Colin, especially about how the last 2 months with us went. I can't wait to talk about it, but there's no way. The fact that they have an app, if there was no app on the PS5 store associated with this, I could see how people would say, you're picking at straws or clutching at straws, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The fact that they have an app, which no game gets an app. This is not just some indie with a $200 failed Kickstarter. Nothing makes sense. But then I go back to
this guy is like the second coming of Hideo Kojima, and nobody just gave him a chance before, but he's done all this capitalizing off of prior Hideo Kojima
like, hey,
marketing.
I don't even have a game. I'm just going to take some Unreal Engines and I'm going to put them in a forest. You can't convince me at this. If this isn't something more than what it is put out there in the wild to be, I will be shocked at this point.
Oh, I agree.
Okay. Good. Shawn, do you want to talk that first, or have you played other stuff? Or just that?
I played other stuff.
Do you want to do that first or next?
Yeah, we can do that. First or next. I don't know what the difference is, but
You can do it first, or we can do it after we do that.
oh. But if we do it next, that's what's next.
We're
going to do it first. I got the Returnal Platinum.
Yes!
I got it today.
Damn.
And I
So,
knew I was going to.
Was it boinked? Or
No.
what you were talking about last week, everything's good. You just had to do the
I had no
the optional
issues
doors.
after.
Okay.
So I got. Once I figured out the one trophy, all I had left was the final full. Basically, complete the survey of Biome 6. And as far as collectibles go, I was just missing 4 of those red glyphs or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, I can do that. Whatever.
Yeah.
So today I finally just sat down and just started doing it. And I did a run, and I got nothing. And then I did a run, and I got 1. And then I did a run, and I got 1. And then I did a run, and I got 1. So now I'm down to just 1 left. I'm like, well, this next run, I'm pretty sure I haven't done the bonus room in Biome 6 yet. So I'm not just going to run there. I'm going to treat it like I'm trying to beat the game and get a good build and whatever so I can beat that room. So I get there. I get to Biome 6 with a pretty good build. I guess I just lucked out, and the bonus room was like the second room I got to. I'm like, well, let's go. And I beat it relatively easily. And then later that same run, I saw the last glyph. And Brittany was on the couch, and I saw it, and I was just like, and she's like looking up. And I'm like,
is Kira okay?
And I walk over to her, and I hit triangle, and I'm just like, and then it goes, bling. I'm like,
and then you got another
bloop, and then
platinum.
I'm like, ah.
Did you tweet this out and I missed it or no?
I tweeted it out, yeah.
You did? Oh, then I missed it.
But yeah, so in the end, I don't know. I mean, I guess I already solved the riddle that, yeah, those yellow containment area, whatever, rooms.
They count.
I think they are part of the survey. What I don't know is if I had already done that for Biome 6, and I don't think I have, because usually by the time I get to Biome 6...
You're trying to beat it.
I'm trying to beat the game, yeah. So I'm like, I'm not going to mess with this bonus area crap. And it didn't look familiar, so I think that was the first time I'd beaten it.
So are you at 30?
No, I got
29?
26 and 27 today. Or 27 and 28.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'm either at 27. I think I'm 28 now. I think today was 27 and 28.
I had my finger up because, so I saw, Shinobi finally got his PS5 back. He jumped into Returnal. Did you see this?
Mm-mm.
He finally got through Biome 1. And then he tweets out how he beat...
Oh, my God. Dude.
Really?
Yes.
And then he tweets out... He tweets a picture when he gets to overlooking Ixion.
No, I'm only at 27. Dang.
He's overlooking Ixion. And then, 10 minutes later, he's like, first try! And I was like, I beat this game! Why can I not beat this boss? It must be mental.
I beat him on my first try, too.
I know!
But
how did you get through the third? Now, he did say that the Moon Man saved him.
So I had to use the Moon Man, too. But I, got him down to, 10% on his last health bar.
Yeah, I'm...
Then... I'm not cooking nothing. I got him down to 10% on his last health bar. And then I died. So I'm glad I had the Moon Man.
Yeah.
But then I think I beat him after that, without getting hit. I barely needed it, but I did need it.
I feel like what I need to do is have a good run.
I want you to beat that boss. Just
I keep going. I know.
So you can get the hook shot and so you can see Biome 3. Because you never have to go back to 2. I know you're not going to platinum this game, so you never have to go back to 2. But, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That makes me very happy.
Yeah. I love that game. I love it. But I'm also happy to just be
delete it.
And I'm done with it now.
Did you play Skyward at all, or
I haven't played it. No.
All right, so let's talk about how we got dual platinums in Trigger Witch. Again, check out the review we did. We were under the gun to get that ready. I know I will say a little behind the sausage. I noticed when I watched it back, there's 2 points where there's a little bit of reused footage, but man, we've got full-time jobs, and this is a hobby.
This is as good as it gets.
It wasn't perfect. If I could go back and do it, I would change a couple things. But we gave it a 9 out of 10, which I'm very confident in.
Yep.
When we did the review, I was further than Shawn was, but he has since said, yeah, we were definitely right with a 9 out of 10. So now, without spoilers, So yeah, we both got the platinum. We can talk about that. But when you get to the reveal of the last boss, were you like, I was like,
I knew
I just
something-
started I was like, yeah.
So once you get to the final dungeon and you start seeing some things on the floor, you're like,
And the music.
wait, what?
The music, yeah.
I'm like, okay. So clearly this is going to be somebody. It's not just like
The man in black is Mr. Black. Yeah.
right. So I didn't know who it was going to be, but I was definitely on the right track. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, towards the end, I kind of sort of saw it coming, but going into this game, what?
Never would have thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't really talk about it with Jono because we didn't want to spoil everything. We're not going to spoil everything here, but now that Shawn's gotten to that point and we both platinumed it, I love that we both got our platinum with a gun piece thing. If I didn't say on the podcast with Jono that the last broom section was in the gauntlet or the arena, would you have been like, what the, like I was like, oh my God, how did I miss
probably
one?
would have had to look it
Okay.
up. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that because I know I completed it, the non-broom arena, and I'm like, I still haven't done the broom one. I'm like, I don't know if there's a reason to. I opened up all the chests.
Right, exactly. Me too.
And it's not like these chests are for that, these chests are for that. So I'm like, I think I'm done, but I'm like, I don't know
Thanks, John.
if there's a trophy where you have to do both. So, I mean, it was on my mind, but I probably would have ended up looking up when I saw I hadn't popped that trophy yet. But
At some point when I was walking around the world trying to get all the chests, I was like, how, in the back of my mind, I'm like, how did I miss a broom section? There's no way. And I was finally like, oh, crap. I remember now. All I did was the regular stuff in the arena. I love Trigger Witch. Right now, I've got it at number 3 on the year.
wow.
I've got it above. It's my... Now, we'll see. Hades, we're going to count it because we haven't played it yet. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody cares about our top 10 list except y'all that watch. So, Hades will be eligible. But right now,
it's 4 or 5 for me. But
It'll be tough.
I have to think back to what all I've played. I can't put it ahead of RE8. I can't put it ahead of Ratchet. I can't put it ahead of Returnal. So I'm thinking it's probably 4 right now.
So, Rift Apart. Well, let me flip the list. Okay. Returnal. Trigger Witch. Village. Herbroxia 2.
Okay. Yep.
Did I say Trigger Witch?
Yep.
Rift Apart.
You didn't say that.
Cyber Shadow.
Mm.
And then I've also played Oddworld and Maquette, which you've played, which technically Maquette's on the list, but that game is not going to make it by the time we're at the end of this year.
So I've got it at 4 right now.
But so we've still got coming this year Axiom Verge 2. When it just comes to indies, Axiom Verge 2, TMNT. Oh. And then we've got Maze. I don't know when Hazelnut Bastille is actually going to come out, but I cannot wait to play that. That's the other Zelda-like.
Yeah.
Canon Bridge of Spirits, Metroid Dread. We'll see what else comes out this year. But right now, this is my favorite. I've got this above Cyber Shadow and Herbroxia 2 when it comes to my favorite indies so far this year.
I think it's number 1 indie right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see with, what do you call it?
Axiom Verge.
Axiom Verge.
Yeah, if it... Oh, man. I cannot wait to play that game. But, yeah, so check out our review if you haven't already. It is twin stick... Yeah, we haven't actually really... We talked about Redacted last week, but now it's not Redacted. So let's just go into it. It's a twin stick, top-down, 16-bit Zelda-ish game, but you use guns instead. Basically, the whole story is that there's this band of witches that they have abandoned their old ways of witchcraftery for favor of firearms, which ballisticism. Somebody says guns, they're like, what's a gun? Which is just funny. We talked about all this with Jono. We're not going to get into any spoilers, like I said, but it is like, at first it was tough for me because I was thinking back to Herbroxia 2, which that was a twin stick shooter where it's just left stick, right stick shoots. So for this to be like, I move with the left, I aim with the right, and then I have to hit R2. I was like, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but it really is at the heart of it. And Reverie apparently was like a 2 or 3 hour game. I haven't played it. Now I want to go back and play it.
Yeah.
But this, we platinumed it. We both platinumed it in right around 10 hours or so. But this is Zelda with guns. Like, the dungeons are awesome. It's got 1, 2, 3, I think 7 Yeah, 1, 2, 3, then that opens. 1, 2, 3, and then you get the thing to go. Yeah, 7 dungeons. Awesome bosses. Awesome pixel art. The bosses sometimes fill the screen. Also, sometimes they're this big on the screen. That I knew that was coming. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but I was like, I know I'm going to fight this person eventually, and I know it's going to end up. It's going to work out in the end. You know.
Yeah.
But I freaking love this game, and it's not at all just because we got code. Oh yeah, thank you East Asia Soft for codes.
Yes.
It's not because of that. It's not because we got to interview Jono. Like if I never got review codes, and if we didn't get to talk to Jono about Trigger Witch, this game would still be this high up on my list. It's that good. And if you're a fan of like John, I don't know if you got this on your radar, but Trigger Witch, if you love A Link to the Past and you would like to see just a little bit of a twist put on that, and also like we could have gone to the casino and got another. Did you see that? You can get a third potion.
Yeah.
So like you are just so OP, and once you start leveling up your guns and everything, man, I love this game so much. It's a very fair platinum or achievement list if you're on Xbox. Oh, the other thing I told you to remind me, you didn't remind me about. Remind
the game clock.
No, but the game clock. One of the things I love, and I actually DM'd Jono, and he wrote me back that apparently this isn't working as well on Switch because the codes went out for Switch before they patched that. So the one of the things, I've never been diagnosed with OCD, but I'm pretty sure I have it. And one of the things that's important to me when playing games is to know how long I've been playing them. What I love about Trigger Witch is when you hit, not when you go to the map, but when you actually pause it, when you hit options or whatever it is on Xbox, up in the top right, it shows your game clock. When you are paused, like you can go look up where's the next chest, what cave do I have to go in to get to this chest, to get the gun part, to get the whatever, the achievement trophy, whatever. The game clock stops when you pause it.
That's nice.
And I told John, like, I appreciate that so much now. I didn't bring it up in the interview with him, so I'm bringing it up now. I just love that because that's one of those things for me. And like when I look at my PS time tracker stats, whatever that I get, messages sent to me, it says I played it for like 13 hours and 50 minutes when I platinumed it at 9 hours and 57 minutes. So that tells you how much I was like either just in pause looking stuff up, or I pause it to go let the dogs out or whatever. I appreciate the game clock being an accurate game clock, and I love that.
I was wrong. I just refreshed. So I am at 28 platinums, not 27. I was really disappointed there when it said 27. But no, it's Returnal was 28.
John is stuck in the mine dungeon, can't find the key on floor B1. And went back to Outriders. I do remember having trouble with a key.
So I remember in all of these, throughout this game, well, basically in the dungeons, there were so many times where I'm like, ooh, I wonder, this seems like some secret path. Like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here, so I'll probably get something good.
And you just
it's
get
a key.
Gems.
Well, no, but
yeah.
Or like a key. And I'm like, oh, like they do, there's not much. You pretty much need to go everywhere in these dungeons,
yes.
I've noticed. Even when I think I found like some secret side path and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go explore over here. It's like, oh, it's a key. I actually need that. But
yeah. So, John, I would say, so look at your map. If you've gotten the map for the dungeon, just look wherever there's like, the cloud is still over that area. Go there. That's probably where the key is. You play anything else this week, Shawn?
that is all.
All right, Shawn, you want to get news of the week?
Let's do it.
The PlayStation 5 has sold over 10 million units, and this comes from IGN. The PlayStation 5 has officially sold 10 million units, but Sony Interactive Entertainment boss Jim Ryan has acknowledged that there still aren't enough consoles available. Sony's newest gaming console surpassed the milestone as of July 18th, and the hardware continues to outpace PS4 in terms of sales in the same period of its life cycle. The news comes less than a day after Microsoft reported that its Xbox Series X and S are now the fastest-selling Xbox consoles to date. Editorial note, analysts are saying that the Xbox X/S have sold 6.5 million. So still awesome, but Sony's winning. I gotta be me.
How many did PS4 sell?
Last check, 116 million, I think.
That is crazy. PS5 has sold 10. I mean, when is that? That's as of when?
July 18th.
So you got to figure by the 1 year mark, they're at what?
15.
You think 15?
I think PS4. Well, I remember PS4 being around 13 million after a year, is what I remember.
Wow.
This was before we were
seems-
podcasting, so I don't know. But.
Yeah.
While this is a major milestone for Sony, the company is still dealing with the hardships of making enough supply to upkeep the demand amid an ongoing global chip shortage and could remain an issue until 2023. Are you serious? Quote, while PS5 has reached more households faster than any of our previous consoles, we still have a lot of work ahead of us as demand for PS5 continues to outstrip supply, Ryan said in a press release. Quote, I want gamers to know that while we continue to face unique challenges throughout the world that affect our industry and many others, improving inventory levels remains a top priority for SIE, end quote. Ryan separately pointed out that those that do manage to get a hold of the console are using it more than the previous Sony machine. Quote, engagement on the platform is the highest that we've ever seen, whichever way you look at it. Whether it's the number of people measured by metrics such as MAU, monthly active users, or whether it's the time that these people are spending playing games. Both of these metrics are showing very significant double-digit growth compared to the launch window of PS4, the previous high watermark. The thing that's crazy to me, everybody's going to say, oh, well, it's all the scalpers. And like Colin was saying on Sacred Symbols, like, it's not scalpers aren't just buying these things and just holding on to them. Because every
Even
day
if they're
they hold
buying
on
them,
to
they're
them,
turning them around.
yes, because every day they hold on to them, the value goes down.
Yeah.
So just shut up with that.
Yeah.
Some other notes here. They had some sales figures for PS5 and PS4 games. So Miles Morales has now sold 6.5 million copies. That's PS4 and PS5. But that is insane. MLB The Show 21 has sold 2 million copies. However, they have reached 4 million total players. So basically 2 million people on Xbox Game Pass have played this game.
Yeah.
Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart has already sold 1.1 million. Returnal has sold 560,000 copies, which obviously people are like, oh, well, that sucks. No, they bought them after Returnal came out. Like, whatever metrics they're using, like, this is a good number, 560,000. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine the budget for Returnal was like 100 million. It was probably, I don't even know, 50 million maybe. But then if you go 560,000 times, say $50 because it went on sale, just do that at the minimum. That's still, I don't know what, 2.5 million, 2.25.
About 28 million.
Okay, so they made money. Like, it's 560,000 is awesome, especially when it's a $70 game. Also, Jim Ryan did confirm in interviews that the Nixxes acquisition was made to help PlayStation make more PC ports.
What's crazy, not to mention just the fact that they've sold 10 million when, you know, there's still a lot of people out there that want one that can't get one. As much as I love my PS5, outside of Ratchet and
Demon.
Returnal
And
and
Demon
Demon,
Souls.
yeah, there's just not a whole lot of reason
No.
to need one yet.
I wouldn't
Like,
say I have buyer's remorse, but I'm like, meh.
but like, I mean,
But I've got it, so
I've
whatever.
got it. I was gonna get it. I didn't pay $1. Actually, I got a
Exactly.
good deal on it
Right.
because I complained to Walmart about it, and they gave me like $100 off, you know, whatever. So I got the disc version for the price of a discless, basically.
The what list?
The cunning stunts.
Oh, good job. That was good.
What was I gonna say? Oh, but like, obviously, I'm getting a PS5. There was never a doubt. So either I buy it day one, which I did, even though I got it day two,
Or you struggle for 2 years.
or and you pay the same amount.
Right.
Like, it's not like, oh, if I would have just waited a year, I could have gotten it. No, it's not going to go down anytime soon. So, I have no remorse.
No, this makes me happy, but again, it's like, man, we need PS5 exclusives. Like, I don't understand. Now, Horizon, I get because it started as a PS4 game that they ported to PS5. I get that. God of War, I don't get. I don't get it at all. Like I've said to James, I love you, bud. But like, when we're playing God of War Ragnarok And it's like, oh, you go from this area to a new area and you're doing this crap to hide loading screens. It's like, well, or on PS5, you could have just walked to the next realm. It's going to become evident, but like, I don't think we are Sony fanboys, because fanboys mean you just like, oh, I love you no matter what. We have called out Sony for so much BS on here, but it makes me happy to see that they've sold 10 million of these things, even with Xbox doing everything. By the way, I could go on Walmart or Target right now and get a Series S if I wanted to. You can't go get a PS5 right now anywhere if you want to. That's hyperbole, but I'm just saying, like, it is a fact that it is way easier to get an Xbox current gen console than it is a PlayStation 5.
Oh, yeah.
Period. So Game Pass might, like, we all just get wrapped up in Game Pass. But like, people still want the PlayStation because they know what that is going to mean. Maybe not today, but in the future, over the next 5, 6, 7 years, what that's going to mean, the kind of games you're going to get. We're going to get God of War Ragnarok. We're going to get Horizon. We're going to get Last of Us Remake. We're probably going to get Last of Us Part 3. We're going to get Metal Gear Solid Remake. We're going to get Silent Hill / Abandoned. We're going to get a SOCOM game. We're going to get a Ghost of Tsushima 2. We're going to get all these games that, like...
GTA 6.
But, I mean, Xbox 2. Imagine if that was an exclusive, then it's over. Then over. That's I don't care what your Game Pass is. It's over. But, like... Sony has the better games, period.
Yeah.
They just do. And, like, Xbox can buy Bethesda. They can, like, Halo Infinite can get delayed 7 times. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be as good as anything that Sony puts out, in my opinion. So that's why they have sold 10 million, and they can't, they if they had made 20 million of these things, they would have sold 20 million right now, is what I think.
Maybe. I don't know if I go all the way to 20 million, but
it's funny, like, because I can remember when I got my PS4 for Christmas in 2013, and it was like, it was tough to get them up and like through November, like it came out second week of November, whatever it was, up through the end of November. It was tough to get them, but then after that, it was like I would walk into Target and they'd be stacked up. Like, that's not happening here. No. You know, it's just crazy. I don't know if it's the load times. I don't know if it's just the whole next gen thing. I don't know if it's COVID with everybody just wanting to have whatever they can have at home to keep them entertained. I don't know, but this clearly is in way more demand than the PS4, which I never thought it would have been.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Shawn. More PS5 news. This comes from Game Informer. PS5 is finally getting a much-needed firmware update. Again, this comes from Game Informer. Sony's first beta program for the PS5 begins today, which was a few days ago, and brings with it a few key changes to this generation system that are for the better, including oh my god, Game Informer, why are you a thing? Included in the first update is the highly requested M2 SSD slot. What? They included the slot in the update? As well as a few select UX enhancements, different customization options, and even a trophy tracker. The beta firmware update is available for a select group, blah, blah, blah. The company notes in its latest update that players only use a supported M2s to expand the PS5 storage. The requirements for that can be found on this website. For those that may be a little confused on what an M2 SSD is, Sony describes it as a device that is, quote, a high-speed solid-state drive medium that PS5 beta users can install to upgrade the storage capacity of their PS5 console or PS5 digital edition. We recommend verifying that you've received a beta invitation before purchasing a new SSD. There is one thing to note, however, and that is that using the M2 does have the potential to overheat a PS5. According to the update, quote, using an M2 SSD with your PS5 console requires effective heat dissipation with a cooling structure such as a heatsink. You can attach one to your M2 SSD yourself, either in a single-sided format or a double-sided format. Editorial note. When you did your Pi, did you have to attach a heatsink? Or did you attach a heatsink? I think I might have done that on mine.
I don't think I did, but maybe.
Or maybe it came with a heatsink.
I think, if anything, it came with
maybe
one.
Maybe the Pi 3 like thing came with a heatsink. Okay.
Yeah.
Also included in the beta is the update is 3D audio support specifically for native TV speakers, which will utilize the DualSense controller to determine the area of impact surrounding 3D regulation. Thanks. So the DualSense microphone, I guess, is going, the room looks like this, and therefore the 3D audio should go here, there, and there. That is freaking weird.
It's like Batman with all the cell phones.
Mr. Wayne, if this thing is active, you can consider this my resignation. All of a sudden, Lucius became Southern and British Southern.
You can consider this my resignation.
My resignation. Okay, so John says they need to start pushing PS Now. It's not that bad, but it needs more PS3 games and PS1 games. My thing with PS Now is they have to figure it out. If they said like 7, 8, 9 months ago, whatever it was, that they're going to have an answer to Game Pass. I think it's PS Now. The answer has to be you have to be able to download PS3 games and play them natively on your friggin' PS5. Period. That's what I'll say, John. So.
They won't.
Okay, so. Do you feel the need to upgrade your SSD?
No.
Because I don't.
No, I'm not. I don't understand. Like, I get if you have Call of Duty, like the entire thing installed.
Call of Duty,
like
Destiny 2, Fortnite.
600 megabyte, something stupid.
600 megabytes? Oh my God.
Shut up. I feel like I've got hardly anything installed. Well, I've still got Returnal. I've still got. Well, I'm going to leave Trigger Witch.
That's like a gig.
Yeah. But I was going to say, but either way, I'm going to play 30, or do whatever I have to do to get the PS5 Platinum when that comes. Yep. But, I'm pretty sure I uninstalled Resident Evil 8. I'm going to uninstall Returnal. Like, when I'm done with a game, I just remove it. I don't need 17 big AAA games installed on my PS5 at once when I'm only playing maybe 2 at a time.
Do your free GTA money, by the way. So right now, I can't see it on here. I thought I could. I've got Fortnite, which I need to delete. And while we had friends here last week, we installed Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. I still have Returnal. I have Ghost of Tsushima, which I haven't played in 9 months, whatever. I have all these giant. I've got Ratchet and Clank still on there. I got Star Wars Squadrons, GTA 5 Online, Village, and I still have enough room. I think everybody is like, "Ooh, Xbox you can just plug this thing in," and okay, you can plug it in, but it's nowhere near as fast as the PS5. So yeah, you can plug this thing in for $200. Congratulations. Or you can spend $250 and you can get something that's comparable to the PS5 to install in the thing, whatever. I don't have a problem with 850 gigs at all. Now, again, like Shawn said, I don't play Warzone. I don't play Call of Duty except for once a year, which I always say I won't, and then I end up getting it. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play Destiny 2, which I would like to get back into. But I don't have these big games that are taking up a big chunk of my hard drive. So I've never had an issue with the hard drive space at all.
No.
So I think this is all overblown, but I'm glad they're finally getting there. It does suck that you have to install a heat sink. It does suck that it seems like... But then I saw an article on PlayStation Universe where somebody from Insomniac was saying they tested some of the third-party SSDs with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and it was almost indistinguishable how the game ran compared to just being on the PS5. So, I don't know. You're also getting updated friends tab now in your library and on your home screen. If you have PS4 and PS5 versions of a game, they will be separate.
Good.
Thank you, God. Trophies also, thank you, God, will display vertically.
Yeah, that was a terrible system.
The trophy system was ridiculous. I know not everybody is a trophy hunter, whatever. Damn it. Kyle Lowry's going to go to Miami, not New York. That sucks. But now when you go to the trophy list damn it, how did I say it?
Now.
I did?
Kind of.
Okay. You can scroll vertically. Again, Brian, whose PS5 trophies on Twitter, was saying, can you just get rid of the rarity and stuff and just let us see, everything you want should be on the left. Bronze, silver, gold, description, and then whatever else over to the right. Who cares?
Yeah.
But I like that they do that now. It's also going to have where if you hit home and you look at your trophies, you're going to see your 5 active trophies that you're working on are there. So that's cool too. And then the 3D audio thing is so friggin' weird. I don't know how my DualSense is telling my PS5 what to do. Also, I don't know how 3D audio works if you don't have headset. I guess if you have 7.1 or something, it can work. Yeah. But I mean, I'm working off a sound bar.
Same.
So I'm not expecting 3D audio at all. But I want to give Sony props for this update, but also I'm kind of like, this should have all been there day one.
Yeah.
On the PS5.
It's an improvement, though. I'll take it.
I will as well. And the last item on the list, Shawn. It's a very PlayStation-heavy podcast. So let's go with this. From Push Square. Shawn Layden's thoughts on industry consolidation. It's been almost 2 years since former Sony Worldwide Studios chairman Shawn Layden very hurriedly left PlayStation, which, by the way, editorial note here, we still don't know what the hell happened there.
Yeah.
And I love Shawn Layden. Jim Ryan's fine, whatever, but Shawn Layden was like, he wasn't Kevin Butler. Remember Kevin Butler in the PS3 era?
I remember the name, but I don't remember.
Look him up while I read. He was like, Sony needs to go back to being that. Like, we're fun. We're not just like, $10 to upgrade this and $10 to upgrade that. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There have always been questions about what happened in the time since, but today the businessman announces he has taken up a position on the Streamline Media Group Advisory Board. Accompanying this is blah, 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 blah. With the cost to produce games always rising, Layden quotes PS4 titles as costing anywhere from $100 million to $150 million to produce, and PS5 games could be upwards of $200 million. He thinks it will be very difficult for smaller developers to compete in the space. He then moves on to the topic of consolidation, warning the industry that this isn't the right way of doing business. Quote, consolidation is the enemy of diversity in some ways. It takes a lot of playing pieces off the table as they grow into these larger conglomerates.
You got it.
And again, we end up with this problem with diversity. Music on a revenue basis is probably 1/5 of the game space, but their cultural impact is 100 times what gaming is. I don't know why he went there. I'm still trying to figure that out, but right now we are narrowing ourselves down into genres and sequels in certain types of games. Favorites like my own, like Parappa and Vib Ribbon, those things don't seem to get a chance to come out on stage. That's bad for the industry and for fans. Over time, that leads to a crumbling of the games industry if we just keep talking to the same people and telling the same stories in the same way, end quote. Most recently, Sony has acquired Returnal developer Housemarque, and there's also reason to believe Bluepoint Games has been brought under the hardware manufacturer's wing. Before that, it was Marvel Spider-Man and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart Team Insomniac Games. Of course, thank you for bringing this up, Microsoft has also been making big money moves that brought Bethesda and a raft of other developers into its own fold. Damn it, Shawn. It's tough to judge whether more acquisitions are on the way, but Layden is clear in his wording. This isn't the way the industry should be going about business if it doesn't want to stifle creativity and diversity. I feel like they're kind of siding with Sony buying Insomniac. Sony buying Insomniac is not the same thing. For $229 million is nowhere near the same thing as Microsoft buying Bethesda and all of their studios for $7.5 billion.
Yeah.
Not to mention they had already brought what's it called? The Hellblade developer. Oh my God, what the hell's the name? I can't remember. They had already bought other studios before this. Like, Microsoft is clearly just like, Satya is like, here's the money. We'll sign whoever. Sony is going about like, okay, they've clearly got a relationship with Housemarque. They've got a relationship with Bluepoint. We're still waiting for that to be official. And every day that goes by that it's not official, I'm like, ugh. But Microsoft is throwing money out there. So I get what he is saying from that perspective, but I do think what Sony is doing does make sense. Like, Sony isn't going out there and buying Capcom. They're not saying Resident Evil and Street Fighter. Well, Street Fighter was already just on PS4, but that wasn't like, but it was also on PC. But they're not going out and buying Capcom and just saying Resident Evil games are only on PlayStation now. They're not buying Square Enix and saying, The Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, they're not coming to Steam or mobile or anything. They're just on PlayStation. I know they've got Final Fantasy VII Remake timed exclusivity. They've got Final Fantasy 16 for timed exclusivity, whatever. And that's why I think they haven't tried to go after them, because they're just signing these deals. But like, I get what Shawn's saying, and I just, like I was saying earlier, I miss him. Like, I feel like he kind of, it feels like he got pushed out because he was trying to push back on this from a PlayStation side. Like, let's lift up these people. Like, Shuhei is just over in Japan just doing indies, and no one ever hears from him. He'll tweet every once in a while, whatever. He's clearly just been like, and like, Shuhei was one of like the most beloved PlayStation figures that there are, and Shawn was too. But I don't know. I get what he's saying, but I don't think it's fair to compare Sony buying Housemarque and maybe Bluepoint, and Nix is whatever. That's just to get games on the PC, so you can't get mad about that. I don't think it's fair to compare that to Microsoft buying freaking Bethesda, which includes Bethesda games and id Software and Machine Games and on and on and on and on and on.
I mean, I can see that, yeah. But I also think I don't really care. I mean, yeah, now if Xbox had Insomniac and some of these other studios, like, yeah, I'd be pretty annoyed. But at the same time, like, half of my top 10s this year probably are going to be indie games.
Yep.
Like,
me too.
I don't need nothing but big budget games. Like, I don't know. More often than not, I'm probably going to prefer an indie game. So, I don't know. But I think what Microsoft is doing is really just in response to what Sony started. I think Sony was buying up, some of these studios, and then Microsoft had no choice but to.
Well, but then they were just like, okay, you shot a pistol, we're going to shoot a bazooka, is my thing.
Yeah.
Like, Sony bought Insomniac and now Housemarque. Before that, the last purchase they made, I think, was Sucker Punch in 2011, I think. They bought nothing since then. In the last 5 years, how many studios has Xbox bought? If you count everything under Bethesda, it's like 20. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, what I do wonder... Oh, I lost it. I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I don't know. Xbox, Shawn Layden.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. What I do wonder is if Xbox goes out and they make another one of these gigantic purchases, whether it is Capcom or Square Enix or something, which I don't think they will, because I think they have to read the room and be like, if we do that, I don't care what Game Pass is, we're going to piss people off. If they do one of these other big purchases, which I'm kind of actually shocked that they didn't get something after buying ZeniMax and Bethesda and everything. I go back to when I worked for AT&T. We were in the middle of buying T-Mobile, and there was antitrust issues to where the government basically said, you already have, I don't know what the number was, I'm just throwing this out there. There's, 500 million mobile accounts in the US. You already have 250 million. And now you're going to buy another 100 million with T-Mobile. You're violating antitrust issues. So you cannot buy T-Mobile. So it was gone, and now T-Mobile and Sprint merged, two crappy companies, whatever. But I do wonder, like, if Microsoft does one more gigantic move, like, I do wonder if someone, because Microsoft is an American company, I wonder if antitrust stuff ever comes into this. Now, I don't think they're ever going to do anything on the level of Bethesda, but that's one thing in the back of my mind. Like, I saw this play out in the mobile industry in like firsthand for me when I was managing a store for AT&T. And I just wonder if that ever ends up being on the table for Microsoft. Because if they do something, there's nothing that they can do that's on the level of Bethesda, because you're never going to get something with that many studios.
Yeah.
But if they were to, like, a week from now, they're like, we bought Capcom and Square Enix, then you're no longer like, even Xbox fanboys can't be like, yay. And I don't,
let me be clear.
I don't want Sony to buy Square Enix or Capcom. I don't want that. And I think a lot of Xbox fans probably are like, we didn't want them to buy it. Maybe a game here or there, exclusive, fine, whatever, like Sony has Deathloop, whatever. But don't buy the company and just shut off however many tens of millions of people from being able to play these games. I don't think that's the way the industry, which I think is what Shawn was trying to get at. I think Game Informer was kind of twisting it a little bit, but I think that's what Shawn was trying to get at with his statements.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the wrap-up, Shawn. Mortal Kombat 11 somehow has sold 12 million units. And the series as a whole is over 73 million. Mortal Kombat has outsold Street Fighter. That is a travesty. I think Street Fighter's like mid 50 million.
Well, there's 11
They also
Mortal
have, there's no
Kombats.
Street Fighter 11, right?
But, I mean, there's
there's
Alpha 2, Alpha
exactly.
3. I mean,
Yes.
it's probably comparable number of titles, but good for them.
It's like Vince McMahon said, it's all blood and guts over at AEW. Death Stranding has now sold over 5 million copies across PS4 and PC. Bam!
People like Mortal Kombat sold 12 million. What do you... There's 5 million people out there just walking around.
You're such a... I know you don't really think that.
I mean, that was
It's
my
not.
experience.
You can't say it's a bad game is your experience. A bad game.
My experience with Death Stranding was I'm just walking around trying not to trip over pebbles.
My foot noise is my reaction. You can't say it's a bad game.
I didn't say it was a bad game. My experience with it was not good.
You said something about bad games. 73 million
All I said was
played
people
it.
like bad games. That doesn't mean Death Stranding is a bad game. I just,
Why did you say it?
why does anybody say anything?
I just said I sold 5 million. You said people like bad games.
I mean, 5 million. Okay.
I'm gonna make a backpack so freaking big, and I'm gonna make you, and I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna make the wind blow, and I'm gonna make you hit R2 and L2. I can't wait. God dang it, Shawn! I wish you would just. Okay. Capcom had their best first quarter ever, thanks to Resident Evil Village, which is over 4.5 million sold, which I think we said a few episodes ago.
Maybe, but that's awesome.
As well as Monster Hunter Rise. So shout out to Capcom. I still can't believe we haven't seen Street Fighter 6, but who knows? Maybe TGS, who knows? We got some more details on the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island expansion. It will be similar in length to Act 1 of the main game. You will get new skills and new abilities, new enemies with new abilities, and there will be horse armor. Now, we talked about it last week, I think. You're not into DLCs. Is there any chance you get this? Or are you good?
I think I'm good. I think I've just kind of closed that chapter. Just not. I loved that game. I mean,
Yeah.
It was almost my game of the year. But I don't know that I want to go back and relearn it all. I don't know. I probably won't play it, but
This next one is specifically for us, and I don't know how this is a real thing.
I don't think it is. Because Wario tweeted this out, and I saw Descent, and I'm like, and I was like, at Kevin White 24, red exclamations, reply. And then it was like, you can't reply to this tweet because it has been deleted. I'm like, what? And then I went back and looked at Wario's feed, and he's like, that was fake. So yeah, it's not real.
All right.
But yeah, I saw that. I was like, and then it's not real.
Seriously?
As far as I know. I mean, let me see if I can find it.
Well, also, the fact that it says Interplay was going to release Fallout, I'm like, Fallout, they can't release Fallout. That's Bethesda. Damn it.
Let me see if I can find his tweet.
You're not going to be able to find it. All right, next up, Team Asobi, the makers of Astro's Playroom, which is freaking awesome, is making a 3D action game, and they are actively hiring for it. Again, Team Asobi has taken over what Sony Japan used to be.
Right.
This next one's sad, but I'm kind of over it, so it's not that sad. But on mobile, Dr. Mario World will be shutting down forever on November 1st, and it will no longer... Damn it.
Yeah.
And it will no longer be playable. So Dr. Mario World is dead on November 1st.
Did you just completely stop, or Would
I
you
stopped
still
because I was like, I'm not good
occasionally-
enough. No,
okay.
and now I'm just playing Bubble Pop. Like, here, I'll show you my pooping game now. Bubble Pop. Double trouble. So it's like, it ain't even going to load. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's like I'm up to level 1684, and it's like, oh my god. Yeah, it's not, but it's good for pooping and being bored and stuff. But and then everything changes. Okay, but yeah, Dr. Mario World is shutting down for good on November 1st. You will not be able to play it anymore, so I should just delete it. Annapurna Interactive did a stream this week. Lots of stuff on there. Not a lot we cared about, but the things I care about I wrote down here. Solar Ash is officially coming out October 26th on PS4, 5, and PC. Stray, the cat game, is coming out in early 22 on PS4, 5, and PC. Outer Wilds, which I don't care about that, but I know a lot of people do. It's getting its first and only expansion called The Echoes of the Eye on September 28th. Thanks, John. Avengers had a free-to-play weekend this last weekend. Did you play it?
Nope.
Me neither. The Wakanda expansion is coming August 17th for free. The people that I still see, including some idiots around here that are like, every time Greg Miller tweets, they're like, oh my God, it's hot. You fucking idiot. It's just like, this game sucks, and the fact that you shills still support this thing is just ridiculous to me. Whatever. Can of Bridge of Spirits. This hurt, but it's only a month, so I'm okay with it. It's been delayed until September 21st. In a way, this is good. First off, it's good because I want the game to be as good as it can be. I cannot wait to play it. But also, in August, we're going to get Hades and Madden. I'm getting Madden. You probably aren't.
When is Hades?
13th.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, I finished Returnal just in time.
Yep. 12 days. What day is it?
First.
No, 12
But for
days.
them, it's like the third.
Well,
or
that's
something.
true. 10
Fourth.
days. I don't know. Where am I? PAX West is still going on in person, but you will, if you want to go there, you got to have a proof of a negative COVID test, or you have to have proof of vaccination.
I don't know if I'm totally behind this idea, not with PAX, but just in general. But, and maybe I overestimate people or underestimate, I don't know.
Maybe next time you'll estimate me.
It just seems like the vaccination card we got
Can easily just be printed. And
right. Like, it would be so, not that I'm encouraging this, don't do that, that's bad. But it just seems like anywhere that if we get to the point where, you need to start proving that you're vaccinated to
people
be able
were
to do
selling
stuff,
these things on
people
eBay.
aren't going to get vaccinated. People are just going to print one out and be like, yeah, I'm vaccinated.
Dude,
like,
people were selling like cardstock copies of these things on eBay for like $50 or something.
yeah.
That's the world I know. Was that close?
Close.
Okay. Modern Warfare 3 is rumored to be getting a remaster coming with Call of Duty 2021, yet to be named. I forget if I played through 1 and 2 or just one of the remasters. Do you remember?
I thought you did.
I think I played
Both?
both of them. I think I played both of them.
Yeah.
But 3, it jumped the shark. I didn't really care. Rumors going around that PUBG may be switching to a free-to-play model, which when I read this, I was like, I know I paid $30 for this and I played like 3 games and then deleted it. But like,
Wasn't it on PS Plus at some point?
no. But no, I bought it. I spent $30 and I got a kill and then I died. And I was like, well, I made a video, so who cares? I cannot believe that this has not gone free-to-play yet, was my first thought. That's why I put it in here, but yeah. Monster Hunter Rise will be getting an Okami, it autocorrected what I wrote. Okami collaboration with the Wolf Guy. More updates Nintendo has said will be coming to Assassin's Creed New Horizons.
He's joking.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Games with Gold, Darksiders 3, Yooka-Laylee, Lost Planet 3, and Garu Mark of the Wolves. Do you know what that is?
No, but I think Xbox finally won a month.
Well, so what Garu, and I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Garu Mark of the Wolves is what Fatal Fury turned into at the end of its run.
Really?
Now, I don't know if that was just the name in Japan or if that was always the name in Japan, then we had it over here. But that's supposed to be an awesome fighting game. But that's what Fatal Fury... Great, the dogs are back. That's what it turned into. And PS Plus did confirm that their crappy games are Hunter's Arena Legends, Tennis World Tour 2, and Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Again, we talked about this last week, but it was confirmed. So I will say, as Shawn said, the first time in like over a year, I think, Xbox wins.
Yeah.
Period. Yooka-Laylee is awesome. Darksiders 3 is awesome. We already had it on PS Plus, but whatever. And then Lost Planet 3, a lot of people like that, from Capcom, I think it was. And then, again, Fatal Fury, awesome fighting game. This was actually a pretty decent month for Xbox and a crappy month for PlayStation. Yeah. You know what's funny? The only game on PlayStation Plus that I might play is actually Tennis World Tour 2. Because it just makes me go back to like the days of NES Tennis, and like it's fully licensed.
Or
it's got
Wii Tennis.
Yeah, it's got Rafa and it's got Roger and Novak. It's got everybody in it. I'm like, I might actually download that just because I have nothing to play right now because I'm not going to pay Returnal and just hate myself. But congratulations, Xbox. You win this month.
Yeah. It's bound to happen eventually.
Shawn, that's it for episode 246. Thank you all so much for being here. I should have said this at the top, but there will be no Zelda episodes this week. We've had, as I said at the top, we've had a very extremely busy week. We do owe y'all a Versus episode. Hopefully we're going to record it here in a couple of days and get it. I will hopefully get it up by the end of the week. That's what she said. But yeah, Zelda will hopefully be back next week, but we're going to take a little break. That should be an Xbox controller. Apparently, McDonald's Australia made a DualSense. So yeah, look for Versus. Hopefully at the end of this week. No Zelda, but we've got our interview with Jono that went up on Monday. This is going up today on Wednesday for most of y'all. And then hopefully Versus will be up on Friday. We'll get back to Zelda either next week or the week after. It's a very long game. It's not a long game, but when you got 2 full-time jobs and you're trying to record episodes and everything, it's tough. We're doing it the best we can. And we're still at $50 on Patreon, so we need to think of another Versus episode to do at the end of this month, which I've got one idea. Should I say it?
Sure.
Batman the Animated Series. Genesis versus Super Nintendo.
Is it the same game?
It's a little bit different on both. So I think it would be fun. I think it's only one player on both, but we can switch off and whatever. But that was a request we got, I think, from Matt Mitchell forever ago. It might not have been Matt. I can't remember. But
interesting.
So yeah, we'll do another Versus episode at the end of this month. But thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for supporting us. And until the next time, Shawn, go ahead and take us out.
Thank you for playing.